Hello friends, Tanya here for Spellbinders, and this is day 19, holy cow, of the 2023 Spellbinders Crafty Advent Calendar. This is box number 19. We're going to open this up and find what we have in here. It is another mini sentiment stamp set. This is all about the thank yous. I'm going to stamp these out with some VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink on some white cardstock so you can see what each of these say. And then I trimmed them apart with scissors. And this is the die from a few days ago on the Advent calendar that came with some die cut sentiment banners, and I used those to cut them out. Next, I'm taking the overflowing floral and the coordinating stencil. These were Glimmer of the Month specials from, I don't remember which month, but I do have them listed in the description box below, and they are still available. I had foiled this on a piece of white cardstock with some blush foil the other day when I was going crazy with the blush foil. And I'm going to ink blend this with Salvaged Patina, Salty Ocean, Blueprint Sketch, Shaded Lilac, and Cracked Pistachio. We're going to have two different colored flowers. I'm starting with the Shaded Lilac and coming in with the Blueprint Sketch to add a little shading in the centers of these flowers. And then I am going to use some Cracked Pistachio for the leaves. And I'm using Distress mini ink blenders with the sponges. I don't have the domed sponges on these. These are the old-fashioned, the original ink blenders, and I've been using the same ones pretty much since I got them. I don't clean these. I have a dedicated handle and sponge for every single color. Do you have to do that? No. Did I find that this was my favorite way to use these? Yeah, and I was willing to spend the money on it, and I have a drawer with some dividers to store them, and I don't regret that particular purchase. We all find things that make our crafting life easier, and this is one of them for me. I'm using some combinations of cracked pistachio and peacock feathers for the different layers of the leaves. This one is the centers of the flowers and some berries. We're going to use, it looks like, peacock feathers for the centers and some salty ocean for the berries. And I think I come back with some shading. Nope, I don't. I don't shade those. And then I am going to take the last layer of this stencil and add some more of the different greenery. We're going to use cracked pistachio for that again. This is a really large image. It would work fantastic on a 5x7 card. That's not how I'm going to use it today, but it would work fantastic. I did add a little shading with the peacock feathers on those feathers, or excuse me, on those leaves also. I have a dry microfiber cloth here that I just burnished over the top of the foiling to remove any of the oxide ink. Now we have the Dazzling Diamonds foiling plate and some blue cardstock that I spritzed with Wonderland Distress Mica Stain. I'm going to line this up and use some Best Ever Craft tape to tack this down on 1/2 of this piece of cardstock. I have some prism foil here. It's this iridescent silver foil. I don't use that as much as the aura, but it is gorgeous. And I was going for silver tones on this. We'll foil one side. I only cover the part that's getting foiled with the spacer plates. When I run that through, I line this up again. I did make some little black marks on my plate to show where it would meet up with the center points of the diamonds, so I could make this a continuous pattern. Next, I took the foiled image, ran that through my scan and cut to create a fussy cut. I didn't die cut this. There isn't a coordinating die for this, but I am loving my scan and cut, and I am finding that it really works very well with colored images, better than, say, I had just foiled this and tried to cut it with the scan and cut. It just really recognizes the image a lot better. I have two layers that I'm going to add to mini not mini distress, mini slimline cards. These were cut to 2 3/4 by 5 3/4 inches. And I am going to line these up on my pieces so I can determine where I want to cut the floral image in half, because this is going to create beautiful florals for 2 different cards. I'm going to trim it off the first one. I just wanted to make sure that this would take best advantage of the floral image before I started trimming it off. I'm going to adhere this second panel on the other end of the cardstock. So this is 2 different orientations, and then we'll trim off the excess. I do go back and trim the excess off of the first panel. I think, maybe I don't. And I've got 2 6 1/4 by 3 1/4 inch mini slimline card bases. I had scored those on the 6 1/2 inch, because I cut it at 6 1/4 by 6 1/2, and then scored the 6 1/2 inch side at 3 1/4, and then folded that well. Used my bone folder to crease that, and now I'm adhering these assembled card fronts. And you're wondering where those sentiments are. Well, I'm going to use some scraps of heavyweight white cardstock, stamp the thank you on this cardstock. I do end up stamping it a couple of times for each sentiment. And then I'm going to use some heat embossing, because I really like my sentiments on the front of my cards to have that extra pizzazz of the heat embossing. So I'll just dip this in my container of clear embossing powder, and I will heat set this till it is nice and raised and shiny. Does not take long. This is still one of the most magical things about crafting. It was what made me fall in love with paper crafting from the very beginning, and I don't think I'm alone. I'm going to use that die from a previous advent calendar day to die cut my sentiment here. Just going to trim this down so it fits through my little sidekick. And I'm doing some partial die cutting here. So I'll line the plate up to cover just part of the sentiment, and then I'll take the die off and realign it so that the fishtail tail end will be lined up where I want it. This way you can create whatever size or length of banner that you like. There we go. There's my thank yous. I did the same with the other one. And then we're going to just adhere these to the card front. I did put an extra piece of cardstock behind each of these banners to add a little extra bulk and to make them nice and even with our floral bunches here. Trying to figure out where I wanted this placed. That's the front of our cards. And then I decided I needed a little extra stenciling on the inside of the card. Stenciling is a really easy and beautiful way to add detail to the inside of your cards. And I didn't even have my ink pads open anymore. I'd already put them away. This is just the ink that is left on each of these ink blenders. They hold a lot of ink. And when you're going for a nice light coverage, these work out really well. Just going to go through and use all of the layers of the stencil, trying to line this one up. And I don't remember if there was, I don't think there's laser etching on these. You just have to line it up with the previously stenciled version. There is some etching in the corner of these dies, so you can line it up over a piece of cardstock. I think these are, they might be 6 by 9 inch. No, I don't remember the exact measurement. But again, that main image would work really well for a 5 by 7 card. I am doing a little bit of blending here with the different colors. We're going to put the centers and those berries in. Trying to go with a lighter hand so it's easier to write over these. Do I have one more layer? Yep, one more layer, the last layer of the leaves. Do you enjoy stenciling on the insides of your cards? Have you done that yet? Are you still venturing into the idea of decorating the inside of your card? Do you enjoy it? Do you wish you did it more often? Once I started doing it on all of my cards, it became a lot easier. I mean, it's really fun to hurry up and finish an entire card, but then when you go to use it and you open the card front, or you open your card and there's nothing on the inside, that sometimes feels a little overwhelming to me, because I think I have to then fill that entire card with a sentiment or with writing. And sometimes you are going to have enough to write to fill that whole thing. We're going to use those sequins from yesterday again because they really match this color scheme. I love this color scheme, and that's why I couldn't resist using it again today. I did toss in a couple more colors, so it's not exactly the same as yesterday. I really enjoy finding new color combos that I love, and then sometimes I get a little stuck on using them all the time. I added just a couple of, looks like I used 3 to 4 sequins on each of these card fronts, and then we're going to take another sentiment from that stamp set that we got on the advent calendar today with an acrylic block and some VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink. I'm just going to stamp that, overlapping some of the stenciling. That one said, "You made my day." I'll clean that stamp, put it back on our little sheet so I don't lose it, and grab another one of the sentiments, and we'll do the same thing on the second card. Ink that up nicely, straighten that out on my block, and stamp that over the stenciling again. And that says, "For all you do." There are my 2 cards for day 19. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a lot of fun to create. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, now is a great time to do that. I would love to hear what you have to say about this video. Leave me a comment below. If you're interested in any of the product that I used today, be sure to check that description box below. It will be listed and linked as always. I will be back tomorrow with another video for the Advent Calendar series. Until then, here are a couple more videos I thought you might enjoy. Bye-bye.